my name is Jenny Kishba with Spectrum Health Healthier Communities. Today I'm back with our 4th week of prenatal yoga at home. I'm glad you can join me. Today we'll be working through a flow that I thought would be a little easier to demonstrate if I was straight on with my mat here with you today. So we'll start out that way. But before we begin, we will start by a little grounding exercise. Just make sure you have a yoga block or a pillow or a blanket or towel that you can roll up handy so that we can use that for our modifications as we move throughout this yoga flow. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, you can come up onto your block or pillow if that's more comfortable for coming to that nice tall seated position. We're just going to bring our hands to our knees or to baby, close our eyes, and really lengthen up through that spine. And just start by noticing your breath. You don't have to change anything about it. Just bring your focus on the in and out of your breath. Just take a moment to check in with your body. Just gently scan down the body from head to toe, checking for any areas that are tight or tense. Maybe you didn't notice you were clenching your teeth. Perhaps you didn't realize you could let those shoulders drop a little bit more down the back. And just continue to breathe in and out. As you feel your body start to melt into the floor. Now I know in Michigan, at least the day of filming, I am ready for some sunshine. I'm hoping by the time that this video is available to you, it is warm and sunny. But by chance that it's not, let's just take a moment to do a little visualization. This is a great opportunity to practice visualization, and you can actually use this with you as a technique for coping with pain during labor. So we're going to close our eyes or keep our eyes closed if you've kept them closed during that grounding exercise. And I just want you to bring to mind your favorite beach. Maybe you see Lake Michigan, or maybe it's a tropical beach, some getaway you had, maybe your honeymoon. Just start to think about that beach. I want you to notice 5 things that you can see. Do you see the sun? Are there other people there? Or seagulls flying overhead? Notice 5 things you can see. Really imagining the color of what that is that you can see. Now I want you to think about 4 things that you can feel, bringing your attention to your body in space. But we'll imagine when we feel ourselves sitting up against the mat, we can pretend that instead it's a towel on the beach. Imagine those 4 different sensations of things you feel. Next, we're going to listen for 3 different things. What are 3 sounds that you hear at your favorite beach you're imagining? Is there a lot of hustle and bustle? Perhaps you miss being around people, and the thought of one of those crowded summer days at the beach sounds wonderful to you right now. perhaps you're more introverted and the sound of having a whole beach to yourself sounds peaceful. What would you hear if you didn't hear everyone else at the beach? Now we're going to notice two things that we smell at our beach. Imagining what that scent is like as it enters your nose. Perhaps if you're at the ocean, it's that salty air. Or maybe your favorite snacks at the nearby food stand. And finally, we're going to bring our focus to one thing we can taste. What can you taste in your mouth at your favorite beach? Now just take a moment to soak in those feelings. See how your body feels now that you've imagined this time at the beach. Perhaps the closest that will be to a vacation anytime soon in the near future. But we'll take what we can get. And we will remember that we can utilize this tool of visualization as we prepare for labor and delivery, anytime we're feeling anxious, or when contractions begin, to divert our attention away from the pain of contractions into focusing on that favorite beach. We'll go ahead and take one more deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, warm breath out through the mouth. And then we'll go ahead and blink our eyes open. Here we are back in Michigan. At least I hope the sun is shining for you. Let's go ahead and get started with our yoga flow. So let's start with our neck rolls. That right ear is going to come to the right shoulder. Slowly bringing the head down towards the chest. Left ear to left shoulder. And rolling back down towards the chest. Let's remember from last week, even as we're sitting here, we can hug baby in, activate those core muscles, helping build better posture to support you and baby during this pregnancy. Head comes back up to center when you're ready, and we're just going to roll our shoulders back, allowing the shoulders to come up and back. Now I'm going to bring my hands up to my shoulders and allow my elbows to draw circles. Just getting those shoulder openers from a little bit of a different angle. And we'll go ahead and roll forward. So start circling in the opposite direction with your elbows. And drop the hands down, and we'll just circle the shoulders forward with hands on knees. All right, shoulders can come back to center. We're going to go ahead and send our feet out in front of us, coming into a nice wide-legged seated position. Again, feel free to sit up on a blanket. Feel free to tuck any blankets or blocks under those knees if you need a little extra support there. We're going to stir the pot as we did a couple weeks ago. Hands come together, and we are reaching our arms up and in front of us, opening up through those thighs and lower back. Really reaching those arms. Maybe to go along with our beach theme today, we'll think of our favorite beverage to have at the beach. We're stirring that up. And start circling in the opposite direction. Really reaching those arms. And bringing the arms back to center. Let's bring our feet together. Soles of the feet come together in our nice butterfly or bound ankle position. Hands are coming to the feet. If you are experiencing too deep of a stretch here, just send those feet out a little farther in front of you. You'll find that more comfortable. You may need to do that to accommodate for your growing belly as well as pregnancy continues. Just breathe here. And now I want you to think about curling up through the thoracic upper spine, so we're really rounding there. Getting that nice stretch. And then we're going to allow the shoulders to drop back down. Reach the chest forward, straighten through the spine, and lift the eyes upward. And again, we're rounding through the spine, upper spine. Rolling those shoulders forward, gazing down towards our mat. And then we're going to beam the heart forward, shoulders roll back, eyes glance upward, and breathe. Great. From here, we're going to go ahead and cross our feet, plant our hands in front of us, and we're pushing up into our hands and knees position. Remember that during these poses, you can always tuck a blanket under the knees, especially if you have a thinner mat or towel. What we're going to do is start by supporting through our hands, really pushing into the index finger and thumb to get nice and stable in that upper body. We're hugging baby in to use our core muscles to support, and we're going to send that right foot out to the side, okay? So my right leg is coming out here. My right toes are pointing forward toward the front of the mat. And we're just going to stay here for a moment, making sure those hips are staying nice and square with the mat. We're not shifting our hips in different directions as we stay here in this pose. And what we're going to do is bring that left hand towards the center of our mat and bring the right arm up overhead, opening up through that right side body. Gaze is up towards the hand if that's comfortable for you. If you don't feel stable with your arm extended like this, you can keep it right here on your right hip. That's fine too. You're supporting through your core by hugging baby in. And we're breathing here. Now we're going to go ahead, and if your arm is up overhead, what you're going to do is just bring the back of your hand towards your lower back. If your hand is on your hip, you're just going to allow the hand to drop down. So I have my back of my hand just resting on my lower back. And now I'm rolling that right shoulder back and again gazing up towards the ceiling. Just getting more of a shoulder opener here, chest opener, and breathing. Staying nice and strong through that supporting arm and leg. And then when you're ready, release that right hand down towards the mat, keeping that right leg extended. And we're just going to walk our hands over to the left side of our mat. Now we're going to stay nice and strong through that left arm. My hands are planted into the ground, and I'm going to extend that right arm up overhead. We're sort of in a modified side plank here. If you prefer, you can bring that right hand to the hip. See what feels good to you. Just breathing here. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to push up to our gate pose. Nice and straight through the upper body. And then we're going to allow that right hand to slide down the right thigh. Left arm is going to reach up and over. And we're going to get a nice stretch through the left side of the body. If you lean back a little bit, stretching back, we'll also get a nice stretch through the front of the abdomen. That can be great for that round ligament pain that is so common during pregnancy. That ligament there gets stretched as the uterus grows, and a lot of moms have pain in that area. So this is a nice stretch to open up through that. Release some of that tension. Remember when we're in this position not to overextend that knee. We want to have a gentle bend there. And we're just breathing. Holding this position, feeling firm, stable through your body. And then when we're ready, we're just going to circle that left arm down towards the mat, plant the right arm into the mat, and then that right leg can now come back to meet the left. Now we're back in our hands and knees position. I'm just going to have you bring your knees nice and wide and sink back into our child's pose or rest pose. Arms are reaching up in front of us, forehead's coming down to the mat. As I've described in earlier videos, you can always place that pillow on top of your calves and sink back onto that. Or you can always bring your knees in closer together if the wide-legged stretch does not feel comfortable for your body right now. And just breathe here. Push back up into hands and knees when you're ready. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to allow my left foot now to come out to the left side of my mat. My left toes are pointing forward. I'm strong through my arms, upper body, really pushing into that pointer finger and thumb. So I'm nice and activated through the upper arms. We're not slouching down here. We're pushing up through those arms. Now I'm going to allow the right hand to come in towards the center of the mat, and I'm going to bring the left hand up overhead, opening up through the left side body. Remembering that you can bring that left hand down to your hip if that's better for you. Just allowing that breath to flow. And then allowing the back of the hand to come down to the lower back. Opening up the shoulder. Imagine rolling that shoulder back so we're getting a nice opener through the chest as well, as we gaze up towards the ceiling. And as I've mentioned before, remember anytime we're supporting through the wrists, you can always come up to a fist instead if that's feeling like too much pressure on your wrist, especially if you're dealing with anything like carpal tunnel during pregnancy. We're going to go ahead and bring that left hand back down towards the mat. And when you're ready, we're going to walk our hands over to the right side off the mat. We're going to be nice and strong through that right hand and arm, and open up with that left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, we're going to hug baby in as we push up into our gate pose. And then let that left hand slide down the left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over, getting that nice stretch to the right side body and abdomen. Gentle bend in the knee here on that left leg that's extended. And we're going to go ahead and circle that right hand down towards the mat. Left hand will come back to meet it, and that left leg is going to draw in. And you can just go ahead and wave the hips from side to side, loosening up any tension that built there. What I'm going to have you do next is push up into a down dog. But before you do, you want to have your block or rolled up towel nearby. Before we start this, my block, if you don't have one, they range in sizes, but this is about maybe 2.5 or 3 inches, the width of it. So if you have a towel, you'll just want to roll it up to about that width. So you might need to make it sort of like a ball. What we're going to be doing is placing the block or towel in between the shins here. So you can see that I have them right in between the shins. The shins are going to hug together, and while I'm doing my down dog, that's going to help activate my pelvic floor muscles a little bit more, help strengthen those. So we're going to push up into our down dog. Hips are coming up towards the ceiling, and I'll just move my upper body here to the side for a moment so you can see the block there in between. Hands are planted into the mat. Chest is reaching towards the thighs. And you can just lift and lower those heels. As you really think about squeezing your towel or block together. Again, that's going to help activate all the way up through those pelvic floor muscles. So we can work on strengthening those important muscles during pregnancy to help support the growing uterus and all the shifting of organs that's taking place. Just breathe here. Go ahead and bring the knees down towards the mat. We're going to bring our knees out wide, so you'll have to remove that block out of the way. And we're sinking back into our child's pose or rest pose. Planting the elbows into the mat if you like. You can bring your hands up and just do some wrist circles. Now I'm just going to stack my hands one on top of the other, bringing my elbows out to the width of the mat and allow my forehead to rest on top of my hands for a moment. Still in this wide-legged child's pose, if that's comfortable. But now just bringing my forehead to my stacked hands and breathing here. So now coming out of child's pose position, I'm going to push up into my hands and knees position. I just changed the angle of the camera so that you can better see what the back of my body is doing here. We're going to come into a modified plank position. It is great to strengthen the core during pregnancy, but we don't want to put too much pressure, especially on the rectus abdominis layer that can actually pull during pregnancy with all the growth that happens in the abdomen. So what I'm going to do is plant my hands into the ground. I'm staying nice and strong in the upper body, not allowing my shoulders to drop here, but really strengthening through the upper body. I'm hugging baby in, and I'm going to allow my knees to support the back of my body. So my feet have come off the mat, and I'm shifting my weight up towards my upper arms. I'm hugging baby in and just supporting here. Now in a traditional plank pose, the legs are extended behind us and in a straight extension like that. But for now in pregnancy, what I'm going to just have you do is this modified plank on the knees. We're going to go ahead and push up into down dog from here. So those feet are coming down towards the mat. You can pedal out the feet here for a moment. Push the chest towards the thighs, and then bring the knees back down towards the mat, shifting that weight towards the upper body as we bring the feet off the mat and settle into our modified plank again. Staying strong through that upper body. Great, and now we're going to sink the hips back as we widen the knees, coming back into a child's pose. Breathing in and out. Pushing up into hands and knees, I'm going to come to the left side of my body. So I am going to slide down the left hand, and I'm just going to allow my arm to be like a pillow for my head here. And I'm going to use my right hand to reach down for my right foot, okay? We're coming into a nice quadricep stretch, down the front of that front quad. And this is also a great one to do for that round ligament pain we were discussing earlier. So if you really imagine pushing that right top hip out in front of you as you draw that right knee back and hug that foot in towards the back of your leg. Breathing. You can go ahead and release that right foot. Right hand is going to come now to the hip. Now we're going to bend the leg that's below us. That left leg on the mat is going to bend for a little extra support, and we're just going to lift and lower the upper right leg, okay? So that right leg is going to lift and lower, lift and lower. Hugging baby in, so we're staying nice and stable in our core. The leg should be the only thing that's moving here. We'll do 3 more. Great, and you can just go ahead and bring that right knee on top of the left. And we're going to do a few of our clam openers here. So that right knee is coming open and close. My feet are staying together. The top knee is lifting and lowering to touch the bottom knee. It's going to be very beneficial for you to work all these muscles, these supporting muscles like the glute muscles, so that when you are in labor, you can use those muscles to support your body, have more effective pushing, get in better positions for baby. Just one more here. And then pushing up on your side, we'll we'll just go ahead and bring our left feet now out to the left side. Both legs we'll just go ahead and bring both legs out to the left side here. And then we're going to slide down onto our right side. So again, using that right arm as a bit of a pillow, we're going to reach our left hand down for that left foot. That left foot is bending up towards the upper body, and we're pulling that left foot in towards our body. Thinking of pushing that left top hip out in front of us as the knee draws back to get that nice stretch. Go ahead and release that left foot. Reach the left leg down the mat. And now we're going to bend the bottom right leg. With that leg more bent, we're going to have a little bit more stability as we lift and lower the left leg. That top leg is raising and lowering. Hugging baby in. Not holding your breath. Three, 2, and 1. Now you're going to go ahead and bend that left knee on top of the bent right knee so we can go right into clam openers here. Feet are staying together and that left knee is going to raise and lower. Still hugging baby in. Just one more. Great, and then we'll go ahead and push ourselves up, coming into a cross-legged seated position. Hands can come to our knees. We're going to move into a seated cat-cow. So what we're going to do is round the spine behind us. And then we're going to go ahead and beam the chest forward as we reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then rounding through the spine. Reaching the chest forward. Rounding. Just follow your breath here. We'll just do one more. And coming back to center. Let's go ahead and plant the left hand into the mat. Right arm reaches up and over. Cooling our body down. Preparing for Shavasana, our practice of stillness at the end of class. Right hand is going to plant into the right mat. Left arm reaches up and over. Hand comes back down towards the mat. Both arms are going to reach up and over, interlacing the fingers and pushing the palms up towards the ceiling. Really reaching those hands back to the wall behind you. Lengthening through the spine. Releasing the hands, we're going to circle the wrists down towards the mat. And once the hands touch the mat, we'll circle in the opposite direction back up towards the ceiling. Once you get up towards the top, we're going to inhale and then exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, send the hands up overhead, palms still together. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, sending the hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to go ahead and keeping that right leg tucked in towards the body. My left leg is going to extend out in front of me. I'm going to turn my torso so I'm facing towards my left toes, and I'm just going to reach down in front of me. Always making sure we're staying in our pain-free range of motion. Don't feel like you need to be reaching down to your foot just to get that deeper stretch, especially during pregnancy. Your body is changing. You want to make sure that you really listen to your body and how deep these stretches should go. And when you're ready, we're going to walk our hands up the leg and go ahead and grab under the knee to help bend at the knee to bring that left foot back in towards your body. And then we can send that right leg out in front of us. Right foot now is extended, and we're going to reach down towards that right foot. Breathing in and out. Walking your hands back up your leg, tucking that finger under the right knee to bend at the knee and pull that leg back in. And we're just going to end with some seated hip circles here. So hands can come to baby if you like, or to your knees. We're just going to circle the body around. And then we'll prepare for our position for Shavasana. So if this is your first week with us, I recommend coming down to your left side. If you prefer staying seated, you can lean up against a wall. If you are coming down to your left side, you can use a pillow or block to support your upper body, your head. You could stick a blanket or pillow in between your knees to get comfortable. And just take a moment to see what props you need to get nice and comfortable here. We want you to be able to feel relaxed and settled as we practice our Shavasana here. All right, and once you're feeling comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. We're just going to bring our focus back to our breath. You have taken the time out of your day to care for yourself and care for baby. That is important work, so thank yourself for making that a priority today. Some days it's easier than others, and that's okay. Just take a few moments to see how stillness feels in your body. And as your mind wanders from one thought to another, just gently remind yourself to bring your focus to your breath and baby. Cool air entering the nose, warm breath out through the mouth. Remembering that you can always bring your focus back to that visualization of the beach anytime that you need a little mini getaway from the hustle and bustle of being at home. Remembering that you can be thinking about 5 things that you see, 4 things that you feel, 3 things that you hear, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. Now you can feel free to stay in your Shavasana pose as long as you and baby need today. But whenever you're ready, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Inhaling, cool air enters the nose. Exhale, warm breath out through the mouth. And then go ahead and blink your eyes open. Thank you for joining me at another week of prenatal yoga at home with Spectrum Health Healthier Communities. I look forward to seeing you again next week.